All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely paradigm-shifting investment opportunity in algorithmic trading infrastructure. We're going to unpack the market analysis and the go-to-market strategy for Sovereign Delta and the brand new ISO 5 standard. Look, if you're an institutional investor, a fund manager, or really anyone involved in capital markets tech, you already know that execution quality is the absolute lifeblood of profitability. So we're going to explore how this new standard is completely redefining how that quality is measured. We're talking about moving from what's essentially a guessing game into a realm of absolute certainty. But before we get bogged down in the technical architecture, we really need to ask ourselves a multi-billion-dollar question. What is the true cost of a millisecond? In a market governed by latency, execution inefficiency isn't just some minor technical glitch. It's a massive financial leak. So we need to look at how this latency is currently being estimated and, far more importantly, how it can finally be quantified in absolute, undeniable financial terms. Here's our roadmap for today to prove Sovereign Delta's massive ROI potential. We'll cover the execution quality gap, deterministic versus probabilistic analysis, real-time financial ROI, global regulatory tailwinds, the certified ISO 5S ecosystem, and finally, the ultimate Sovereign Delta opportunity. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the execution quality gap, or as I like to think of it, flying blind in a high-speed market. Let's start by looking at where the market is currently falling short. Take a look at this market data. It highlights a really glaring vulnerability in the institutional trading ecosystem today. Even with all the complex monitoring tools out there, a critical gap remains: the absolute absence of a real-time, deterministic, dollar-cost quantified execution quality score. The algorithmic trading market is huge, right? It's projected to grow by tens of billions of dollars over the next few years. Yet traders are essentially flying blind while the actual trade is happening. So let's dive into this legacy problem. Traditional transaction cost analysis, or TCA platforms, operate entirely on aggregated post-trade data. Think about big providers like OneTick, FlexTrade, or S&P Global Market Intelligence. They give you highly valuable analytics, sure, but the key word there is retrospective. It's literally like trying to drive a Formula One car by only looking in your rearview mirror. They rely on historical data aggregation and statistical estimates. That means institutional traders are only finding out they lost money well after the fact. It's a post-mortem analytical exercise, not a live trading control parameter. They might hand you some network metrics, but they completely lack direct real-time dollar cost attribution for individual trades. Moving on to Section 2. Deterministic versus probabilistic analysis. This is the big pivot from estimates to hard evidence. This breakdown brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between guessing with statistics and acting on hard evidence during live trading sessions. On the left, you've got traditional TCA, which is probabilistic. It measures execution quality against theoretical benchmarks, things like arrival price or volume-weighted average price. But on the right, you have the ISO 5 standard, which is deterministic. It doesn't sample data or guess. It takes direct, forensically verifiable observations of the actual execution conditions exactly as they happen. This deterministic approach, it's the absolute foundation of Sovereign Delta's competitive moat. By ripping out the inherent uncertainty you find in traditional probabilistic tools, it allows you to make trading decisions with complete confidence. In institutional trading, where certainty is everything, the difference between a statistical estimate and actual forensic proof is literally the difference between crossing your fingers for a good fill and guaranteeing a highly controlled execution. Okay, Section 3, real-time financial ROI. Let's talk about translating technical latency into cold, hard cash, because that's the true ROI proposition here. This is where the rubber meets the road. Traditional tools throw technical metrics at you: milliseconds, basis points, microbursts. A fund manager then has to sit there and manually interpret what a 4-millisecond latency spike actually means for their portfolio's bottom line. ISO S5 completely eliminates that friction. It translates those technical metrics into a direct dollar cost per trade. It identifies the precise dollar amount that an execution inefficiency cost you on every single transaction. It creates an undeniable ROI narrative. You're not just buying software to track speed anymore. You are integrating a control parameter that shows you exactly how many dollars you're saving in real time. And honestly, the best part? Sovereign Delta already has over 161 hours of live session forensic log data. We're talking about auditable evidence proving this capability is operationally verified right now. It is incredibly rare in capital markets tech to find a solution offering this level of demonstrable proof before it hits widespread market saturation.
So we are definitely not talking about vaporware here. This isn't just some flashy white paper promising a future solution. It's a production-ready operational reality. Between the 224 pages of technical documentation and a complete 17-file deployment stack that provides auditable evidence, Sovereign Delta has fundamentally bridged the trust gap. For an institutional investor, having this operational proof drastically reduces the technology risk you'd normally associate with adopting new trading infrastructure.
Section 4 Global Regulatory Tailwinds. These are the legal mandates that are practically forcing market adoption. What makes this such an incredible investment thesis is the immediate regulatory moat. The market isn't just organically looking for better tools, the law is straight up requiring them. Major shifts from regulatory bodies like the SEC in the US and ESMA in Europe are changing the game. They're actively forcing firms to demonstrate measurable processes for monitoring execution. We're officially out of the era where giving your best effort was enough. Regulators are demanding verifiable transparency.
Here is exactly how this maps out to the global compliance framework. Step 1. The SEC's amendments to Rule 605 demand enhanced public disclosure of execution quality statistics. Step 2. Over in Europe, MiFID II Article 21 requires comprehensive best execution monitoring. And Step 3 is the solution. ISO-5 perfectly maps to these exact mandates. Any institution using this standard immediately exceeds global compliance requirements. Why? Because they aren't just providing regulators with statistical guesses anymore, they are handing over deterministic, forensically verifiable proof.
Section 5. The Certified ISO S5 Ecosystem. Let's look at their vertically integrated go-to-market strategy. To prove market readiness, Sovereign Delta isn't just building in a vacuum. They have a formalized, certifiable third-party ecosystem to ensure rapid adoption. This matrix outlines 3 strategic partnerships that create a beautifully integrated channel spanning hardware, infrastructure, and software. You've got Falcon Trading Systems offering the industry's first forensically verifiable hardware performance guarantee. You have Chart VPS on the infrastructure side, and TickBlaze natively integrating execution scoring on the software platform side. This is exactly how you build an industry standard. You embed it right into the tools traders are already using every single day. Take Chart VPS, for example. By partnering with them for CME proximity hosting, Sovereign Delta takes what is essentially a generic infrastructure provider and transforms them into a certified execution quality provider. A trader provisioning a Chicago VPS gets execution quality monitoring right out of the box on day one. That kind of zero-friction onboarding is just a masterclass in market penetration. Finally, Section 6. The Sovereign Delta Opportunity. We are looking at defining a whole new category in capital markets.
Let's wrap up by looking at the ultimate opportunity from an investment standpoint. The market analysis makes it absolutely clear. This is not just some incremental update over existing tools. We are looking at the creation of an entirely new, certifiable category of execution quality assurance. Think about what ISO 9001 did for manufacturing quality management, right? ISO S5 is poised to do exactly that, but for algorithmic trading execution.
Honestly, the entire thesis boils down to this one powerful quote. This transforms execution quality from a post-trade analytical exercise into a live, actionable trading control parameter. The crucial takeaway for us is that execution quality is finally moving out of that post-mortem phase. It's becoming a live, dollar-quantified control parameter during the actual trade, which provides an immediate, undeniable financial benefit. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. In a market where milliseconds literally mean millions of dollars, and where global regulators are increasingly demanding absolute transparency, you have to decide. If you're deploying institutional capital, will your infrastructure rely on a statistical estimate that tells you what might have happened yesterday, or will you invest in verifiable forensic proof that actively saves you dollars today? Thanks for joining me for this explainer on Sovereign Delta and the ISO 5 standard.